Some people wait their whole lives for change and begin to believe it will never come. What if the miracle you're waiting for doesn't come the way you expect? What if healing begins not with movement, but with a question that shakes your excuses? In the Gospel of John, chapter 5, we are taken to a quiet yet heartbreaking place in Jerusalem, near a pool called Bethesda. This pool was surrounded by 5 covered colonnades, and beneath them lay a crowd of broken humanity. The blind, the lame, the paralyzed, people whose lives had been reduced to waiting for relief, waiting for hope, waiting for a miracle that seemed to favor someone else. Among them was a man who had been disabled for 38 years, nearly 4 decades. Think about that length of time, longer than many lifetimes feel. Years of watching others walk past, years of being carried, overlooked, forgotten, years of hoping, only to be disappointed again and again. According to the belief of the people at that time, an angel would occasionally stir the waters of the pool, and the first person to step in would be healed. Whether this belief was fully accurate or not, it shaped how people lived. It created competition among the suffering. Instead of compassion, there was desperation. Instead of unity, there was urgency to be first. This man had learned one painful truth over 38 years. He was never fast enough. He had no one to help him into the water. Every time he tried, someone else got there before him. His sickness was not just physical, it was emotional, relational, spiritual. He was alone in a crowd. Then Jesus arrived. There is no record of the man calling out to Jesus. No prayer is mentioned. No display of faith. Jesus simply saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time. And then Jesus asked a question that feels almost cruel on the surface but is deeply revealing. Do you want to get well? It sounds obvious. Of course he wants to get well. Why else would he be there? But Jesus was not asking about desire alone. He was asking about readiness. After years of suffering, illness can become identity. Waiting can become comfort. Excuses can become shelter. The man didn't answer with a simple yes. Instead, he explained his situation. He talked about the lack of help, the unfairness, the system that always left him behind. He had reasons, valid reasons, painful reasons. Jesus didn't argue with his explanation. He didn't analyze the pool. He didn't comment on the angel or the water. He didn't ask the man to move closer or to try harder next time. Jesus simply said, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." No countdown, no dramatic build-up, no touch, just a command, and immediately the man was healed. Strength returned to muscles that had been weak for decades. Bones and nerves responded to a word. He stood up, he picked up the mat that had carried his hopelessness for nearly 40 years, and he walked. But the story doesn't stop there. This miracle happened on the Sabbath. Instead of celebration, the religious leaders reacted with criticism. They didn't ask how the man was healed. They didn't rejoice that a life had been restored. They focused on the rules. Carrying a mat on the Sabbath was considered work, and work was forbidden. The healed man, still trying to process what had just happened, explained that the one who made him well told him to carry the mat. He didn't even know who Jesus was yet. Later, Jesus found him in the temple and spoke words that add depth and gravity to the miracle. "See, you are well again. Stop sinning or something worse may happen to you." Jesus was not saying that the man's sickness was caused by a specific sin. He was pointing to a greater healing, a deeper restoration. Physical healing without spiritual transformation would be incomplete. This moment reveals something powerful about Jesus. Jesus does not wait for perfect faith before acting. Jesus does not require impressive prayers. Jesus steps into long-term pain and interrupts it with authority. But he also invites responsibility. Healing is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new way of living. This story speaks directly to anyone who feels stuck. Some of us have been by the same pool for years, the same habits, the same disappointments, the same prayers that feel unanswered. We wait for conditions to change, for someone to help us, for the timing to feel right, for the water to stir. And Jesus asks us the same question. Do you want to get well? Not just emotionally, not just spiritually, but completely. Because sometimes healing requires letting go of the mat, the excuse, the identity formed around pain. Jesus doesn't always heal the way we expect. Sometimes he bypasses the systems we trust. Sometimes he ignores the methods we believe are necessary. Sometimes he speaks a word that forces us to move before we feel ready. And when he does, the question becomes, will we obey? The man could have argued. He could have said it wouldn't work. He could have pointed to his past failures. But he responded to the voice of Jesus, and obedience unlocked healing. There is also a warning in this story for those who value rules more than restoration. The religious leaders missed the miracle because they were guarding tradition. They saw a mat instead of a man. They saw a violation instead of a victory. When religion loses compassion, it loses the heart of God. Jesus later explained that he was working just as his Father was working. God's mercy does not pause. God's love does not rest. Restoration is always holy. This miracle reminds us that Jesus has authority over time. 38 years of suffering were undone in a moment. What feels permanent to us is temporary to him. It reminds us that Jesus sees individuals, not crowds. In a place filled with sick people, he focused on one man who had waited the longest. It reminds us that healing may challenge comfort, routine, and even belief systems. And it reminds us that true healing calls us to walk forward differently than before. If you feel like you've been waiting too long, this story is for you. If you feel overlooked, this story is for you. If you've grown comfortable with excuses, this story is for you. Jesus is still asking the question, do you want to get well? Not someday, not when everything lines up, but now. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to your heart, please like the video, follow the Holy Path Insights channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Your support helps spread God's word to more people. May peace and healing walk